Grand Rising, you beautiful, beautiful soul. So I stopped by to remind you to not allow individuals to deplete you and to drain you of your energy. Now, we have this trending topic called empaths and the empath narcissist dynamic, right? But when you really think about what is an empath, first of all, it is a term that is not federally recognized as a legal basis for a mental health diagnosis. So you can be an empath who is just a highly sensitive person consuming all the energies of everything and everyone around you. See, when you look at some individuals who happen to be a little bit more in tune with their surroundings than others, you see, because you have some people who they'll be in a mix of everything, and it's just, they don't feel things on a deeper level. They don't see things on a spiritual level. They're just there. And then you have other people who can not only feel the space and the place, they can also, feel people's energy. They can feel jealousy. They can sense envy. They can oftentimes see into things before they actually happen. But for some reason, these things, these abilities, these heightened spiritual abilities, they're not acknowledged, y'all, on a federal level. But currently we have narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths who are recognized on a clinical level. But it seems like you have to have some space of deranged behavior in order to be acknowledged. I know I speak about these empty vessels a lot, but the reality is that we are surrounded by them, y'all. Like, we are really surrounded by the majority of empty vessels, and they are simply looking for someone to feed. And most times they're looking for an individual with a heightened sensitivity, because remember, we have that woe it's me mentality. It's the woe it's me, look at what happened to me. Regardless of how you're feeling, how your day is, it really is just about them. So, when I sit back and I question, because I question science, y'all. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not one that's big on different theories and things like that. But I also question the legitimacy of the basis and the theses of determining what's a clinical term and what's not a clinical term. Because when you really look at the scope, because remember, they look at things under a microscope. They look at things on a closer level. They need to understand things. They need to see how it moves, how it ticks. So in order to determine the basis of a psychopath and a narcissist and deem it as clinical, they would also have to see the sides of a highly sensitive person and an empath, because there's always two sides to every scope. So what baffles me is it seems that one side is deemed a joke, because if it's not acknowledged in the sensitivity and the need for an individual to also feed the same way that the narcissists and the sociopaths, they need to feed, right? These empaths and these highly sensitive people, they also need to feed. They need to feed on things that's going to fill their soul. They need to feed on things that's going to improve their energetic level. Because remember, they are coming in contact with many different areas, locations, people, places, and things that will drain them. And when you look at the people, places, and things, because when you're dealing with people, places, and things, that can just fall under many different things. That can fall under the family dynamic. That can fall under addiction. That can fall under so many different areas. But they also need to feed, and they need to be into places where they're going to grow, where they're not going to just be sucked dry and then it's not even acknowledged. And the mere fact that most people who are highly sensitive and who are empathic, they usually suffer in silence. They usually keep their pain to themselves. They do not step out and share how they really feel. They don't do that. They don't dump on people, because you have that space of some individuals who just love to dump, y'all. Like, no matter what they dealing with, they will just dump all of their crap on you. And it really doesn't matter what they're dumping on you. They can either be talking about things that's going wrong in their life, where it's just sucking you dry, every word that comes out of their mouth, or they can just get a thrill out of tearing people down. And see, when you have individuals that's like that, you also have these sensitive beings as well. And these people who are highly sensitive, and I gotta tell y'all, I'm a very highly sensitive person, but I do not believe that I'm just an empath. I believe that there are so many different layers to me. But the reality of just being a highly sensitive person, I have the ability to feel things on such a deep level that I mentally have to check out of just society as a whole. Like, I have to check out of society as a whole, even though I'm still moving through life and operating, because spiritually, when you operate at such a high frequency and such a high altitude, you tend to, I'm not going to say that we attract. I feel like that's a programming. I feel like the programming of the mind, it says that we attract these dark entities. And what that does is, believing that you attract these dark entities, it opens up the door for these dark entities to flock to you. It's like the moth to the flame. But remember, it is programmed. In order for you to attract anything, it has to be something that's totally in alignment with your soul. And when you're looking at a lot of these manifestation quotes and different things like that, you realize that we really do not be manifesting these things, y'all. These are real lies, but the truth, which is real, is very hard to prove. How can you prove and realize that something is a real lie? It'll be very difficult, so therefore you have to either see it or you don't, because when you see it, you can say, I ain't manifest nothing. That was planted there. That's programming. That's a space of programming. You see what I'm saying? I refuse to believe that. But when you move into that space and you give yourself the ability to choose what you feel, when you feel it, and also be able to identify the difference, you see? So, along my journey, and it's been rough, y'all. It's been very rough. But on an alternative side, because remember, when you say but, you contradict everything that you just said before that. So, but, because I've also learned to understand me, and to understand how I move and how I operate. And even though there may be things that's planted around me on a daily basis, you see what I'm saying, to bring down my vibration, because remember, you come in contact with these low frequency beings sometimes in passing. Sometimes you can be going to the store, or getting out of your car, you're driving in traffic, and you come in contact with a low energy being who is just mad at the world. And at this point now, they want to just be angry and violent while they're driving in traffic. And you see, or you may be at work and your boss is just a grouch and just keep barking at you and just angry and nasty. But you have to adhere to the rules, which is, I don't even know at this point. I don't even know how to break that part down, where you can be disrespected on the work team and adhere to the rules. I guess the silent rule would be that you just stay humble and stay quiet and let God fight your battles. And most importantly, to protect your energy. Because when you know that it's truly not personal, because see, remember, someone can tell you don't take it personal because they know the next sentence that they're going to say out of their mouth is just going to be straight poop. It's going to be totally disrespectful, or whatever aspect, or it's going to be some type of low frequency, low vibrational verbiage that they're going to release. But when you really learn to not take anything personal, you will start looking at people from the spiritual lenses, and you will see the type of individuals that you're coming in contact with. So most times, before they even open their mouth to say a word to you, in most instances, you already know who you're dealing with. So when you already have an idea of who you're dealing with, the type of locations you're going into, and if you're in a space and time in your life where, you don't really have many options, because we always have a choice, y'all. We have the ability to turn off our emotions. And that's the one thing that I feel that people who are highly sensitive, they aren't taught that, or they don't realize that they have that right to turn off their emotions. And when you do that, some people may say that you're a narcissist. Some may say that you are a dark empath. Some may say that you are selfish and you are self-centered because you came to a space where you decided to put your mask on first. See, when you ride the airplane, they tell us on the airplane to put your mask on you before you put your mask on your child. Because if you cannot protect yourself, how can you protect the child? We take that same principle and we apply that to regular society and realize that we are encouraged to keep our mask on. And when I say the mask needs to be invisible, it's that moment where you have your mask on first, because you understand that if you don't take care of you, you can never show up for anyone in any space. And see, far too often, we have, it's like a silent rule where just because you have a little bit more energy or you have a higher frequency, you have to give to other people. It seems like the people who are more sensitive to energies and who are more empathetic to people's situations, they tend to be looked down upon. It's like people look past the things that they feel. People just feel like just because they have the ability to navigate through their own struggles, help others navigate through their struggles, while meanwhile still functioning and operating at a higher vibrational frequency, many times people feel that they are just a doormat, like they are just a junkyard, or as if they are just a dumpster where you can just dump all of your trash onto people. In most instances, once they treat you like a dumpster, or once they treat you like a junkyard where they just dump all of their stuff on you, and I mean literally just dump all of their stuff on you, then they will gaslight you and make you believe that you are that junkyard, that you are that dumpster, that you are trash, that you are this, because either one, you took your energy back, or two, you got to the space where you was depleted and you didn't have nothing else to give. And at that point, many times you will get gaslighted to believe that something is wrong with you, or you tripping. You know what I'm saying? People will come at you with that. Oh, you tripping out, or why you acting like this, and why you acting like that? What, am I not allowed to have a bad day? You see what I'm saying? So, and that's usually the space that happens. So, when you really look at this empathic dynamic and how it was structured, and the realization that it's not federally recognized as a clinical term, I feel that more people who are highly sensitive and who are empathic will begin to study and learn how to turn off that ability. And it's so sad, because That's a God's given gift, to be highly sensitive and to be highly empathic. That's a superpower. That's a superpower that God blessed us with and equipped us with. But it seems that a lot of times these superpowers and these gifts that, we are equipped with, they're taken for granted. They are abused. They're misused. They are violated. They are disrespected. They are forced to operate in unusual circumstances. They're abused, y'all. And when you look at the term abuse, most times people just see it as physical abuse, or we just see it as a abuse where your significant other may put their hands on you, or child abuse where your parents may beat on you. But what about the verbal abuse? What about the mental and emotional abuse? Because that's really what it is. And it seems that the empath dynamic is programmed to live and operate within the space of an abusive environment. And it's deemed normal. It's not identified. It's not recognized. Remember, it's looked down upon. So when you see that, you understand the importance of putting your mask on. And I mean continuously. There needs to be an invisible mask that's on that never comes off. Because remember, under a medical scope, these terms, they're not acknowledged, y'all. But the same one that abuses you, their abuse is acknowledged. You see what I'm saying? So because of that, I question the legitimacy of science. And as a nation, where are we going? What space are we moving into when all we acknowledge is the abuser? And then when you get to the actual person who's been abused or who's being abused, is expected. See, these expectations, to be a highly sensitive person, you are expected. That's the silent thing. You are expected to sustain large amounts of abuse. And anytime you step up about it, in most instances, you will become victim blamed. There's a huge platform of victim blaming going on around us, y'all, and many people, they're asleep to it. They are completely oblivious to the presence of these silent expectations. But then it says, when you take your power back, you somehow you gonna get judged. They gonna judge you either way, because remember, there is a silent expectation for you to be a dumpster, for you to be a doormat, for you to be able to consume abuse in large amounts. There's a silent expectation for you to always be in high vibration. There's a silent expectation for you to always smile and look to things that's positive and see things on a positive note, regardless of the storm. But see, just because God equipped you with the ability to see things from a spiritual level, I want you to realize and to understand that those gifts, they are not designed to be abused. They are not designed for you to continue to eat people's garbage, because that's what it is. So even if you happen to get gaslighted and made to believe that, you're selfish or whatever it is, because that's an abuser's favorite tool, is gaslighting. You see what I'm saying? So, and when you see the gaslighting present, that term is acknowledged on a clinical level. But what is clinical? What is clinical when the scope that determines what's clinical and what isn't is viewed from a biased nature? It's viewed and identified from one side of the scope, as if we don't have two sides to every coin, right? So, with that being said, I do want you to not just protect your energy, because you know we have all of these videos online that say imagine yourself in a bubble, and you know you put this invisible bubble around you so it can't penetrate. No, it's not about an invisible bubble when you're moving through the world around many, they call them energy vampires, and ain't no energy vampires. All that stuff is designed that way, y'all. It's designed for people to suck your energy. What you need to do is get selfish and start giving people back what they give you. That's what's required of you in this season, because we're dealing with some real walking demons out here, y'all. And if they want to give you their behinds a kiss, what you do is you walk away and let them look at your behind while you walking away. You see what I'm saying? See, when they want to disrespect you, you remain silent and you don't say a thing to them, because guess what? Your lack of reaction to them will make them even more mad than if you actually gave them a reaction. Okay? When I say you give them what they're giving you, see, we playing chess, not checkers out here. And a lot of times these people who gaslight you and they make you feel, or they feel that I'm going to dump this on you because I have the ability to control what you feel. But I want you to know that you are in full control of what you feel, when you feel it, and how you feel it, regardless of the season. When I say we are going to start giving people back what they give you, you're going to have to do it with some strategy here now, okay? Because if they start yelling and screaming at you, disrespecting you, of course you're not going to start screaming and yelling back at them. At that point, you gave away your power. At that point, now you gave them a reaction that they are so desperately seeking. But when you really choose to stand in your power and to stand in your glory, you will realize that not reacting to most situations and mentally and emotionally checking out will be your greatest form of protection of your energy. But on that note, y'all, I do hope that y'all have an amazing, blessed, and prosperous day. And I'm going to catch up with y'all in the next one.